Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Lunch at the Loft. Dave Burdge with us here, WAOH videographer and father of two, happily married, living in Cuyahoga Falls, living the dream in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio.
Absolutely.
And a lot of restaurant experience on your resume.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I was out of the game for a while, and then I got back into it a couple years ago, 2 years ago. But throughout that process, I've picked up all kinds of different food-related skills.
This is how it works. If you're on the WAOH crew and you have cooking experience and you've worked in a professional kitchen, you are going to come in and be on Lunch at the Loft and make food for the crew. This is wonderful. Okay, so what are we making today?
So today I am making the Salem potato chip, whatever you want to call it, facsimile recipe, because the recipe I have been unable to locate. But my family, long ago, they had a potato chip factory in Akron, Ohio, and we would, every member of my family has worked there at some point or another on my mom's side, and they closed in the 80s. But if you're old enough to remember, a lot of the kids would ride their bikes down to the factory and they would get hot potato chips, and I guess they were like just the best. So I am in the pursuit of trying to recreate that.
And this is from a family recipe, you're willing to share. At least let us observe how it comes together.
Well, we do have the secret ingredient, so...
The secret ingredient. All right, I'm not allowed to know what the secret ingredient is. Oh, this is the secret right here. I touched it. I've touched the secret ingredient. We do not know what's in it. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. Well, let's get it started. Let's see how this comes together. I'm going to learn something new here today. And Corey's actually going to switch cameras while this is happening. It's part of his job. So we're going to go. All right?
So making your potatoes generally, this is something you could do at home. It's just a little bit more labor intensive than opening a bag of chips, but it's a lot cheaper. So you want to get a mandolin if you have one, or you can use a knife, but you're going to want to cut them as thin as you possibly can cut them.
Well, as you're doing that, I need to just review the terminology. That is a mandolin.
Yes, a mandolin.
It's not a musical instrument.
No, not to be confused.
Not to be confused with
small musical instrument.
Right.
But these are going into a water bath, and actually I like to add, to keep the potatoes, I like to add a little bit of vinegar.
Okay.
Just to keep their color good.
They're going to be in the water bath for a little while then.
They sit in the water bath for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then you dry them, and then they go into the fryer. So we're going to work these.
Now, not everybody has the fryer at home. The fryer is kind of a unique sort of thing to have.
You can bring, or you can use a big pot you have at home and fill it with oil. But for the purposes of making chips, I like the fryer because it has the basket. So you can put a number of chips in there as opposed to just a couple, and it's easier to get them out.
When we're feeding a whole crew here, we got to increase production.
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you're not experienced at the mandolin, you could potentially injure yourself.
You got to be very careful. I know last place I worked when I'd use a mandolin, they had a chainmail glove, so you didn't slip and cut yourself.
It's just a small flesh wound, as they say on the sketch.
Absolutely.
Anybody old enough to remember the small flesh wound on Saturday Night Live? No. Okay, we're not going to talk about injury.
I thought that was from Monty Python.
Was that?
Yeah, where he cuts his arm off.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the the Bass-O-Matic. Did he injure himself in the Bass-O-Matic? I'm distracting you from doing the potatoes.
Possibly.
You're right. That wasn't a Saturday Night Live bit. The
Bass-O-Matic's Dan Aykroyd. I know.
The Bass-O-Matic is Dan Aykroyd, right? But then I feel like there was one of those sketches on Saturday Night Live where they had a minor and the blood was coming out. But you're right. The minor flesh wound is Monty Python.
That's from Holy Grail.
It's all in there somewhere. It's, so 50 years of TV and movie viewing is all jumbled in as you get older,
In an effort to avoid cutting myself on your show, I'm going to not cut the potatoes all the way down. Just because it's safer.
Yeah, I was thinking about OSHA. I was thinking about, this is a non-reportable incident.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think we'll be all right. So this obviously could take a minute.
Yeah, it's a lot of doing, but like I said, it's well worth it once you get the end result because the chips are so delicious.
So this is how it works here, folks. If you get an invite to attend a recording of one of our Lunch at the Loft shows or to be a part of the live audience when we do these shows live, you definitely want to do it because we have some really great food here. And here's, if you're on to me, if you figured this out, I get to just sit here, ask questions, talk a little bit, and then I get a good meal. We've had nothing but tremendous success with all of the foodies and executive chefs. I learned the new term sous chef.
Sous chef.
I'm learning all about the different positions in the professional kitchen. So we're having a lot of fun. So what we'll do now, we are going to take a quick commercial break. We will be coming back here in just a little bit as we do all the potatoes, and we'll see you here just a little bit for another segment here on Lunch at the Loft. Welcome back to Lunch at the Loft. We have been waiting for the chips, the potatoes here to take a bath.
That's right.
But explain the process, why they have to be in there for at least 15 minutes.
So you want the starches to come out of the potatoes so that it's not real. It makes them a little softer, and when you fry them up, it makes them fry up much better, and they're a much better color. Because if you just put them straight in there, they're going to turn brown.
And the vinegar helps this process.
The vinegar helps with the coloring,
okay.
And then the water's breaking down the starch.
So when these are going to be like the chips when you go to a restaurant and you order the fries or the homemade chips.
Absolutely.
You're doing homemade chips.
That's
all right. So we have another minute or so left. And again, this is a family recipe.
Sort of.
And it's so this is the secret here. But you're not allowed to say what's in this secret container. What the secret ingredient. This is the 11 herbs and spices right here.
Essentially.
Okay. Now, yesterday, we did a wonderful recording for Lunch at the Loft. What do we have here?
That is a mixture of salt and pepper and I believe some kind of seeds, like maybe a magle seasoning of some kind.
Oh, yeah. So that could be involved in this.
Well, when they're done, you season them, they come out of the fryer, and I was going to say you can put whatever you want on the chips. Oh. If you want to make potato chips, you want to make salt and vinegar chips, you want to make a barbecue chip, you can come up with some kind of combination of spices that would allow you to have, even unheard of combinations.
You went all out and bought a fryer, but not everybody has this at home.
So the reason I like to use the fryer, I'll take the lid off and I'll show you.
Sure.
If you want to do. So in here, there's a basket, and the basket helps to keep the potato chips from getting stuck on top of each other and piling up. So it's just a lot easier.
You do it on the stove, you're going to have...
They're going to get stuck together.
They're going to get stuck together. This is like expert level.
I have spent
advanced chip making here in the loft. This is exciting.
I spent a lot of time trying to figure out, first of all, how to make chips, because I didn't know how to make chips to begin with. And then talking to people from my family, people from around town who remember, trying to determine what this recipe was.
You come from a long line of chip makers.
I mean, hypothetically.
Sure. Okay. There it is. It's in the ancestry in me. It's written in there.
Right.
Chip maker.
Well, my great uncle is the one who started the Salem potato chips.
Okay.
And those are tins that I brought with me from back in the 50s and the 60s.
Wait, so we got a shot of this right here. Let me turn this for the camera. Okay. So is the Salem's Potato Chips, is this company still in business? It says right here. Oh, yeah, KT Salem, Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, that was my great uncle. But he actually had opened another location at one point in time in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And before my mom was born, but her two older sisters and her dad and mom lived in Buffalo, and they worked at that one. But the factory here in town was on West Bowery Street, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they were there from, I want to say, he started the business in 1927. Wow. I don't know how long that factory was there, but for sure it was there in the 50s to like the early 80s is when it closed.
Okay. Then we're not kidding. A long line.
It's so long.
Okay, I love it. All right, so we did a long commercial break.
Yes.
By the magic of television. Now these have been in there 15 minutes.
So what you do is you can drain the water out. So I'll take them over and drain the water.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to go over here.
So you just take them and drain it.
Sure.
As much of the water as you can.
We're draining a lot. See, we're using... This is a real working kitchen. We have an actual sink. And, we're not screwing around. We built a real kitchen. Some people look at this and say, is this just a set? Is it fake? Is it for photography? It is for photography, but it all works. See?
It's for ultimate food photography.
Yeah. Actually, all the water just drained onto the photographer on the 5th floor. Yes.
I got to show off the back of
I didn't say the plumbing was done correctly.
The back of my shirt.
Let's see it. Turn around again. Let me see. What is that?
This was my grandpa's bowling shirt.
Salem potato chip.
It doesn't quite fit me, so, but nonetheless, I had to wear it for this because this was like kind of a big deal.
All right. Well, back in the day, our ancestors could eat whatever they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And they all in all the pictures we see of our ancestors, they were, maybe they didn't have McDonald's, I think is what it is.
I mean, there were a lot less processed food
That's what
back in the day.
Yes, all the processed food. This is a labor intensive.
It's a lot of work.
Okay.
But like I said, it's totally worth it when they're done.
All right. Now, how do the kids well, I guess your youngest is not ready to eat potato chips.
Yeah, she's not quite fried food age yet.
To refresh my memory, 2 months old.
3 months.
3 months. I was way off. Okay, so the 3-month-old is not going to be eating chips yet. Nah.
I mean, she can have a little taste, just a little.
A little taste.
Just a little taste.
Okay. But your 12-year-old, however,
she loves potato chips.
Will eat the.
She has been my taste tester for every batch of chips I think I've ever made.
Okay. Now then, if you go to a restaurant and she orders the chips, then does she grade them using your chips as the standard? These are better than yours, Dad. These chips are not as good as yours. Or yours the standard? Is to set the bar pretty high?
I don't know if honestly we've been a lot of places where you can get fresh potato chips.
Yeah, it's not it's either fries or onion rings.
But I'm sure that if that did happen, I would totally be the gold standard until she found something better.
Okay. So, I mean, you brought a whole sack of potatoes.
I did. So when you cut one potato, you can basically, one potato equals one serving of potato chips when you cut them real thin like this. Sure. So that works out to be... Wow.
So the margins on potato chips are probably pretty good.
That's why he started the business. That's why
I'm putting that together.
I just found this out.
A whole serving of potato chips So a Pringles in a can is one potato. Maybe a potato.
It's probably two.
2 potatoes. Okay.
But like a bag of potato chips, at the time, this was all worked out in 1920 whatever, so the prices were much different.
Sure.
But the margins were still, arguably pretty similar. So what he had determined was you could sell bags of chips for 5 cents a bag, and you would get whatever that was.
Profit.
It was profit. Absolutely.
Profit. Yeah, whatever. They were better at math back then than we are now.
I saw a thing of it. I just couldn't remember the specifics.
So, all right, let's see the next step. So how long do they have to kind of lay in the drying area here?
Once you drain the water out, I set them, and then you can just kind of take a paper towel, and you just kind of pat them dry, and then they're going to go in the fryer.
Okay.
Once you have most of the water off. And this is going to be where you hear, the sizzle.
That's what we're all about here, is we want to hear the sizzle. We actually have microphones just for the sizzle.
Just for the sizzle.
Yes. We mic up this. Now, when you're doing this at home, does your daughter say, when are they going to be done? She knows the process by now.
I would say...
Are they done yet? Are they done yet?
That sounds like her. That sounds like something she'd say.
Do an impression of a 12-year-old girl anticipating the chips.
Yeah, she really loves them when we make them. So
of course,
and she helps.
Okay.
Because you need help. I mean,
now do you give a quick safety lecture on the use of the fryer? It's not for everybody.
I would say the most important safety thing to remember is that hot oil is not going to come off of you with water. Like, you're still going to get burned. So if you do get an oil burn, you need to just get the oil off of you. That's the most important safety.
Put your finger in the water.
Yeah, don't run your finger
in the water. Okay.
Wipe off your finger first.
Okay.
But you'll see when I drop these in, like if you...
Corey, you ready?
So when it's going to make the noise. It's so exciting. And then you just let them sit. They don't take long, but you have to do them in batches because if you put too many in there, they're all going to get stuck together. And honestly, even this is a pretty good sized deep fryer, and it still can't do a ton at a time.
Okay.
But I would say 2 of those would be like enough for 2 people.
All right, and you can reuse the oil for several batches.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many batches can you get out of one tank of oil?
It's more a question of time than how many. Like, basically, you have like a week once you start using it. Change the oil once a week.
Okay. You worked in the restaurant where you had to go back and dump
just about every restaurant.
The grease.
Just about every restaurant I worked in.
This is a job.
So the thing about managing the grease is, it's not something you can dispose of easily in general.
You can't pour it down the drain.
You can't pour it down.
It'll clog your drain.
It will clog your drain.
The plumber loves it when you pour it down the drain. At the service call is a minimum charge of $150.
Well, the thing is, it goes in the drain a minute. It hardens up.
It gets stuck in the trap, probably. And then, you know how to take a trap off and clean it out. That's not something you want to do, ever.
No.
No.
That happens, though. I mean,
Yeah.
over time. But you can
see
see,
them browning up.
they're starting to turn brown.
Yeah.
Got those two bigger ones in the middle.
It's a beautiful shot, that overhead camera.
Once these two are done, I call that the end of that batch. And then once you take them out of here, they go into the bowl with the towel, and that's where you season them while they still got the hot oil on them.
What do you have this at the temperature? What are your choices?
This is 350. The oil's 350. You can do it hotter than that, but I try to keep it kind of low so they're not...
What do you want to cook them faster? That's not going to work, right?
You'll burn them if you cook
them. Burn them, okay. All right.
But you can go up 400, I'd say, if you were in a hurry.
Yeah, what do you...
And we're going to
gain
be
a minute.
careful. Yeah.
Okay. So those are medium. Those aren't well done. Those are medium.
Those are medium.
You're going for medium. All right.
I'm going to do a little salt.
Okay.
And then
hang on. This is the secret.
Put in the secret ingredient
here.
Secret
ingredient.
Okay. And I'll do a couple more batches, and then we can start having some. We can feed the...
So they need to cool off, obviously.
They need to cool off.
Not wise to just eat.
I mean, you could if you were, if you really wanted to try them.
Yeah.
I know I have. I know I've been guilty of jumping the gun. But they're so good.
So where would you get... if you look at a wide shot of this kitchen, we already have 2 copies of every appliance ever made. And I don't know, but we don't have a fryer. Now I want to get a fryer. This is fun.
There are different kinds, but if you want one like this... Actually, I bought this one on... I think I bought it on Facebook.
Can you go to the Restaurant Supply? What's the Restaurant
could.
Supply Depot place over here at
Restaurant Depot?
Restaurant Depot, there you go.
Restaurant Depot, though, you have to be a member to shop there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we used the EIM for the television station to get a membership and bought a bunch of things when we first set up the kitchen. And I don't think we've used it since.
Well...
We should.
You can do.
Where do you draw the line? We could have a fully stocked kitchen. At some point, there isn't enough room. We're in a 300,000 square foot old B.F. Goodrich manufacturing building, and there's still probably not enough room here to store all of the kitchen equipment we could possibly have.
Oh no!
It would be it's better just let your guests bring it in and demonstrate it.
Well, the thing with the deep fryer is too, if you're in like a commercial kitchen, they're huge. They're
for sure.
However many gallons is in a box, 5 gallons, I think.
Could we just run a drain out the window here? There's a little drain in the floor, and who knows where that goes? We could just drain the grease right into that. Could you think of the EPA rules that didn't exist when they were making tires in this building? There's probably things in that drain.
Point.
We shouldn't even think about it when we're getting ready to eat. No, that's just terrible. This Lunch at the Loft show is just a lot of fun today. Dave is here making the chips for us right here in the fryer. Are we getting the sizzle? We get the thumbs up from a sound guy that we are getting the sizzle. That's the best part of the show right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Sizzle. The show sounds good. The food good? The food's all right, but it sounded great. Okay, we're going to take a quick break as we whip up a couple of batches. We, meaning Dave, while I just do the talking, we're gonna salt. We're gonna do the secret ingredients.
Yes.
We're not allowed to know the secret. That's why it's a secret.
It's a secret.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna stay out of that one. All right, we're gonna be back for the taste testing, the best part of Lunch at the Loft, right after this. Welcome back to Lunch at the Loft. We are now ready for what is my favorite part of the show, and that is the taste testing. And of course, everything that we do here is delicious. And thank you for doing this, by the way.
Absolutely.
This is a great idea. My gosh, you have Lunch at the Loft. You're like, hey, I got an idea. You have all this ready to go, and the mandolin is fantastic. Okay, before we get to the taste testing, I think we're gonna have to have everybody do a quick fitness bit. We all need to get in shape. We all do all this food in here. Should we do a fitness segment? I'm getting a no from the audience. Skip the fitness segment. Let's go directly to eating the chips. Are you ready for the taste testing? My son, Matt, is here, part of the crew here in the studio. And he's going to go first on the... Do you like chips? Why don't you come over here? Hop right in the middle here. I'm going to get out of the way, and Dave's going to move a little to the left, and you're going to be right in the middle, and yeah, right in between us, right here. That way the mics work.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Well, here we go. Are you ready for the? You're ready for the taste testing? On the director's ready. You're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Have at it.
Wow.
Moment of truth. There it is.
That's the kind of reaction you love to hear.
The so this is the Salem's chip recipe.
It's my version of it. Like
Your
I said,
version of it.
I couldn't get, no one in my family knew the recipe, and I couldn't figure out where it ended up. So I just kind of...
You've had the chips before, so you...
I never had them.
Oh my gosh.
I just had to make it up from talking to people and
Okay.
people describing the taste to me.
I think I'm ready. Delicious.
I'll make you eat it.
Oh, you're going to keep eating them. Well, hang on a second.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Now, it's that secret
Okay.
ingredient.
Is this the secret?
That's the secret ingredient. Don't you try to guess the secret ingredient. No guesses. No guesses. It'll ruin the whole thing. Oh my gosh.
I don't think I would get it anyway.
All right, all right.
Mm.
It's a good secret.
People watching at home probably going to hear us chomping.
I gotta have one now.
That is delicious.
And
All
part of the appeal of these chips too is when you make them fresh, they taste so much better than chips from a bag do. And you know, there's nothing like having a fresh hot chip. That was what I used to hear about so much from people when I'd mentioned to them my relationship to this company. They'd be like, "Oh, you up there chips? We used to go have hot chips down."
What restaurants in the area can you think of that are still serving homemade chips? Put it in the comments below if you're watching this. What restaurants in the Akron area are making the chips and serving them like this? I'm sure these would be better.
I'd like to know.
Mhm.
So they haven't talked to me, you know.
Me too. All right. This is where we sign off and wrap up the show. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, let's do the end where they have the cast goodbye.
All right.
And we're just going to chomp. Roll out the music, as Bill O'Reilly says, to play us out. What does that even mean? To play us out. We'll do it live. All right. Thank you for watching. This has been another exciting edition of Lunch at the Loft with Dave's famous Salem potato chips from the Salem Potato Chip Company, Akron, Ohio. Unbelievable. You're going to learn a little bit about Akron history today. Thank you for watching. And Corey's going to keep it recording for a couple minutes as he plays us out.